So how's it going today, Brother Cliff?
Well, I guess it's going.
We're back at it again, huh?
Yeah, we're back at it again. The last one we talked about was centered around, I think, the Congressional Black Caucus and
Yes.
the idiots involved in that. Well, recently we've had some other things go down which seem to be picking back up where we left off.
Okay.
With black men being shot unarmed. Now, this Sacramento situation, Stephon Clark,
Yes.
it's unfortunate, 22-year-old man, 2 kids already. Now, unfortunately, we learned about some disparaging remarks he made
Right.
concerning blacks and black women. I've seen a couple of pictures pop up where his girlfriend, I guess the mother of the 2 children, is obviously a white woman and all of that. But aside from that, unfortunately, now he's dead and gone, and the court's going to have to play this scenario out. What's irritated me with this and some other things I'm going to bring up is, once again, the imagery that is being portrayed. Stephon Clark's brother, his surviving brother.
Oh, Lord.
The antics, the buffoonery, the shenanigans that have taken place with this guy jumping up in front of the local town hall or the local city councilman in front of their podium space.
Of course.
On CNN, making egregious statements, which, quite frankly, I'm not a lawyer, but it seems like to me the statements he's been making about the characterization of his brother who was shot could damage the trial. That leads me to Crump. As soon as I saw the photo op, Crump is the so-called renowned civil rights attorney who, since Trayvon Martin, who has handled several of these high-end cases or high-profile cases, hadn't won a damn one yet. He seems to just be there to get a check. And he'll probably get a check out of this Sacramento thing. The family will get maybe so many millions. He'll get his cut. Apparently, I'm not a lawyer, but they usually get a percentage of what's being doled out from the compensation. But Crump is pathetic.
Right. Let me just make a quick point so you could continue about Stephon Clark's brother. So there was a video circulating quite recently, I think 2 days ago, with him jumping around again in a shopping center. It might have been Walmart. He had money to his ears, like stash of money. So apparently this kid is getting donations or some sort from somewhere that he's flaunting already, jumping around. And then he went on another interview talking about how we should pay attention to mental health. So apparently he's trying to, I guess, insinuate that he's having some mental health issues, using it as an excuse. But I'm gonna just let you continue.
Now, see, with you bringing that up just adds to the point I'm eventually endeavoring to get to. With these stupid acting shenanigans, Crump should be the ringmaster to bring this circus clown in and have his black ass sit down some damn well.
Exactly.
But Crump, this is plain to why he can't ever win one. And in my opinion, I blame him. What's so irritating about this to me, and other things that go on in this country, Mason, you can guarantee just as sure as we're at this table, in white America, in other ethnic groups where they see where some of their own are embarrassing them or just not going the right way, apparently we don't even have that in our community.
Right.
You would think someone like maybe John Lewis, who we know is a coon, but let's just say with their credibility, so to speak.
Right.
You would think somebody like John Lewis, maybe Andrew Young, maybe even former President Obama could do the following.
Right.
This is so-and-so and so-and-so, civil rights icon, blah, blah, blah. Crump, I want you to get a hold of what's going on right now with this buffoonery, with this guy acting like a straight-up nigga from the word go. The next time we see him and any other family member related to this case is at the end of the trial when the verdict is given. we shouldn't see any more of this, but that won't be the case.
The worst
we
thing
we don't even have a black man in America who can pick up the phone and say, "Stop this foolishness."
The worst part about this whole situation is the money he was flaunting. Word on the street is he's using that to promote his mixtape. Can you imagine that? So he's making a fool out of himself and the whole black community of Sacramento and the entire black community of America.
Now, and I was thinking, because of the disparaging remarks his brother who got shot, Stephon Clark, made in general, that may dilute to some degree the support he would have had.
Right.
Even though that shouldn't have a thing to do with the price of tea in China, but just knowing the human nature of people. Oh, he thought this about his own kind. He thought this about black women. But moreover than that, the point I'm trying to make out here is, look at where there are no men bringing control of this in. I think about, I've said it before, I go back to Dylan Roof. And at his arraignment, you mean to tell me there was not one black lawyer in that whole thing that said, you know what, this is unfortunate,
right,
but the killing of 9 people in a church is actually bigger than you? At his arraignment, you can keep your personal things to yourself, but we're not going to get on national TV and the first thing out of our mouths is we forgive this guy.
Right.
Even right here in Charlotte, if you remember, a little 9-year-old girl at the government center downtown. Do you think there was one black man to say, stop that black girl, get her off that microphone? We do not put our children in the media to say what our men will determine and dictate and send an image to America with that.
That is so
this
pathetic.
Makes me, exactly.
It's so
this
pathetic.
Makes me so angry. I don't know what to do. We don't have, Trump's not doing anything. We've got these images where they're just running amok.
I thought Al Sharpton was also on this case, so I mean,
you would think he would be. You would think a man of his stature and experience in these matters. Now look here, you're not jumping up and down. As a matter of fact, you're gonna stay inside. I don't want to see you on any TV, radio show, in print, or anything else until this trial is over. You're ruining the legacy of not only your brother, if you loved him, you're also painting yet another negative picture where, and I don't care how sequestered these jurors are, some of the comments he's made would not be advantageous for his brother. So you throw Crump in the mix, these guys are going to walk. But again, my overall thing about this, where are our black men? I did see Cornel West talk to Anderson Cooper about the matter. Cornel West, Dr. Cornel West, is actually from Sacramento, so that was somewhat of a connection to get him on.
Right.
He finally did make some statements about Trump. You recall Dr. West and Dr. Dyson during the Obama administration, they were making several comments about him, yet I haven't really seen anything from Dr. Cornel West or nothing from Dr. Eric Dyson or Tavis Smiley or any other of our so-called mainstream
Tavis Smiley is not going to say anything
American
at this point.
Journalist.
Tavis Smiley is going through his little shenanigans and he has to deal with that. As far as this guy's brother, Stephon Clark's brother, word on the street again, the word that's on the street is he also has an Asian girlfriend and he also did some bashing of black women. This guy that's jumping around like acting like, you know what, like a monkey basically.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but you can even take some of that. Well, if you don't even care or like about your kind, who knows what's going to be going through the minds of those jurors? But unless this turns into an upset, so to speak, Crump's going to lose yet another high-profile case. It looks like to me we're only here to collect yet another check, and when they get the money for the family, this guy go out and I don't know what he'll do with the money, and we won't hear from him anymore.
The black conscious community, is taking a step back because more people in the black conscious community are on the side of well, this guy didn't stand for black women, he didn't stand for black people, so we're not really going to support him. We got to use this as an example to not support him, because this is going to continue to happen anyways. Police brutality is not going to stop anytime soon.
That's true,
so,
but I think the overall big issue here is
right.
the imagery that's being allowed, in my opinion, to
right.
be portrayed. Now, we know the segment of our society that promotes
right.
this, white supremacy and all of this kind of stuff. But here we have a situation, in my opinion, where there are no, once again, black men saying anything about it. And in
right.
my opinion, his attorney, Crump, being chief among them, the only thing I've ever heard over these TV sound bites and interviews have been, and Mr. Crump, the defense attorney, is saying, is asking for calm in the black community. Well, that's all he's ever asked for in any of these high-profile cases, and he never gets results.
Al Sharpton did say,
other than
let this boy grieve, let him grieve, but that we can't let him grieve like the way he's been doing. He's been embarrassing himself, embarrassing his family, embarrassing the entire black community of this country. You know, he's basically embarrassing everybody. So it's like, why allow this? And apart from that, for the simple with the Stephon Clark debate right now, it's a debate with the, like I said, the conscious community, because there are people who are saying the cops that shot him were two cops, one black cop and one white cop. Should we forgive the black cop as well? Because basically, you know,
interesting.
Yeah, should we forgive him too? Because he's a black guy, and this black guy didn't really care about the black community at large. He went online and said so much crap about black women. So should we forgive the black cop as well? You know what I'm saying? So everybody's talking about this. Me personally, my outlook on it is this: police brutality is wrong. For this particular situation, we're gonna just move forward, and that is try to seek some type of justice as far as him being shot down by the cops. Now, moving forward, if another black person does the same thing, go on social media degrading black women, talking the worst things about black people, we cannot continue to give them support, because to me that it makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's how I'm looking at it.
That would be part of the unity umbrella. Right. And going back again to, where are people saying this is ridiculous? A couple of weeks ago on the Today Show, right, they announced the first, apparently, 2 male cheerleaders who will be performing, who will be a part of the Los Angeles Rams cheerleading squad. Of course, there are 2 black men. Now, as I stated in one of my rebuttal blogs, part of this is a retaliatory statement toward the athletes who were kneeling.
Colin Kaepernick situation, basically.
And we've known since the Super Bowl there's probably going to be some tension, because the NFL owners are saying they are not going to allow the players to kneel. Now, that's going to cut across them being a private company. Do they have the right to tell their employees?
Right.
Or versus the right by the Constitution. So that's going to be interesting. But back to the 2 homosexual black men who will be performing for the Los Angeles Rams as the cheerleading squad. Yet another situation where we don't even seem to have anybody to say, stop. We're not. Well, sit down somewhere. We're not going to allow that.
It could be a setup, number one, you know. And I'm not giving an excuse, but it could well be a setup, you know, because you have these black dudes who are kneeling down and causing a lot of commotion when it comes to the NFL. So it's definitely a setup.
Well, you use the word commotion. I think they are doing what they need to do to bring attention to it.
Right.
Not that, I know what you meant when you said.
Right. I don't mean it in a bad way, by the way. Yeah.
But now, if you don't think it's I don't know how much weight you could put to it, but if you don't think having 2 homosexual and they're 2 black guys,
right?
Let's see how many white guys want to become cheerleaders at the NFL level.
Well,
and then on the Today Show, the story broke on the Today Show
Right.
So that means with Roberts putting a positive spin on it and everything. Again, I would be interested to see what the NFL players' reaction
Okay.
is going to be, or are going to be toward this. Yet another example of demasculating the black man.
Wow.
You look at these other situations that are going on where black men aren't even standing up and telling
speaking
other
out.
black men, cut the buffoonery,
Right.
cut the shenanigans. We don't need it.
We don't need it, you know. With that NFL thing, like I said, it could be a setup, and the bad part about that is the moment someone starts to speak up, the LBGT community is gonna jump into it. You know that. I mean, we all know that.
Yeah.
They're gonna jump into the whole conversation.
It's a lot of far-reaching tentacles of nonsense.
So when you see things like this, and maybe civil rights activists are not trying to speak up immediately about it, to denounce it, they're probably looking at the LBGT community jumping in there to really cause even a bigger backlash, because the media is going to definitely back them, the LBGT community.